There's so many red flags. I'm dizzy and I faint. So this could be dangerous. My husband got jealous over the girl he led on for years at our wedding? Why was she at your wedding? I, 25 female, got married to my husband, 24 male, we will call him Jim, a week ago after dating for 2.5 years. Jim has a friend called Misha, 22 female, who was invited to the wedding. He and Misha have known each other since high school and were close friends. And Misha had a very obvious crush on Jim from what he and others who know them have told me. Jim told me this after I met Misha for the first time and confessed that he leaned into her crush and led her on throughout their high school years and for a little while after, before we got together, because he was struggling with his mental health and he really liked her attention. That's nice. He seemed genuinely guilty about all of that because he thought Misha was a nice girl and a good friend, and because he showed guilt, I didn't feel the need to bring it up or argue about it, despite thinking it was a crappy thing to do. Plus, Misha is a nice girl who has never overstepped boundaries and has been nothing but kind and friendly towards me, and I now consider her a friend too. All right. I got more details. I have more understanding now, I guess. Misha moved away to the city last year and has done really well for herself and has a long-term boyfriend who none of us have met yet. So when it came to sending them wedding invites, I told her she was welcome to bring him as her +1. The first red flag came when Jim was weirdly resistant to the idea of Misha bringing her boyfriend, but he excused it on being concerned about the number of guests we invited, and the matter was dropped. When the wedding day came, Misha showed up in this beautiful dress, nothing inappropriate for a wedding, and with her boyfriend on her arm, who I'll admit is a very handsome guy. Think a Kit Harington type. Oh, I need to know who that is. Kit Harington. Oh, he cute. Okay. All right. She's also lost weight and has a haircut that suits her better, and I thought she looked great. We also found out throughout the night that her boyfriend is very successful and earns more than practically anyone else who attended. Throughout the reception, I noticed Jim glaring at Misha and her boyfriend the whole time, and he was really cold and short towards her when she came over to congratulate us and give us a gift. He was also straight up kind of rude to her boyfriend when Misha introduced us to him. When his mom, who's always known and liked Misha, mentioned that she was glad Misha found a great guy and praised her boyfriend for being so nice, Jim snapped that, quote, "At least she won't be desperate and hung up on me for the rest of her life." Okay, jealous. Which I thought was cruel and uncalled for, but I didn't challenge him because I didn't want to argue at my wedding, despite the fact that he frankly sounded bitter. The whole thing has left an awful taste in my mouth, and I can't help but think that Jim got jealous that Misha has found a guy who's honestly quite a catch, who she's very clearly in love with and is now completely over Jim. Half update. After getting some PMs from you, I decided to go through his phone while he was napping after work, and needless to say, this marriage is over. Ooh! The heavens above has blessed us with an update. Because you know I need to know what's in those text messages. Always. Always. Ever since I found stuff in text messages, I always want to know. And it's not Matt. Don't worry. Don't panic. It's not Matt. The update came 8 days later. So some shit probably went down. Pretty much the day after my original post, I got some PMs from people suggesting I go through my husband Jim's phone to see if he and Misha were truly just friends before this and that nothing romantic happened between them. That would explain his reaction at the wedding. He always takes a 45-minute nap after work, and so I used that as my opportunity to swipe his phone from where it was charging on his desk so that I could look through it. I've seen him put in his passcode a ton of times, so that wasn't an issue. I didn't find anything in his text with her, but I know that Jim goes on Instagram a lot, so I checked there too. The immediate red flag was that he used an app lock that requires a passcode to access Instagram? I didn't even know that existed. But the dumbass used the same password that he uses to unlock his phone, so I got into that right away. It's his birth year, go figure. What a dumbass. And what would you know? I got to his messages with Misha and find messages from him the morning after our wedding, telling her how beautiful she looked that night, how much he missed her, how he felt that her boyfriend being there spoiled the opportunity to catch up with her, and that he was desperate to meet up with her. Misha never replied to these messages, and he sent some more to her later that day. I won't get into what he said because they were very personal insults that were frankly just gross, but just think about the kind of stuff you would read on the Nice Guys subreddit. Misha left him on read, and when I clicked on her account, it appears that she blocked him. Good job, Misha. I scrolled through their messages quite far back, and I believe nothing romantic happened between them. I wish that was all. But looking into his other conversations on Instagram, I found that he's been messaging other girls there. Who's surprised? Not me. You want to know why? Because it's a pattern. He's liking the attention that Misha gave him, and when she was no longer giving it to him, poor Jim. The love and the attention of my wife is not enough. So he's seeking attention elsewhere. They seemed like aspiring Instagram model types from our area. Most of these conversations were him just shooting his shot and getting left on read, but others had evolved into flirting, and 2 of them resulted in sexting. And the most embarrassing part of all, the nudes he was sending to these women weren't even of him. Oh my God, he Googled pictures of other males and sent it like it was his. Oh! Wow. I know what his body looks like, and he doesn't have chiseled abs, and isn't that well done? Oh my God, bro. Like, what do you type in? Like, what's your Google search? I think he must have found a man's profile on some adult website and used those pictures, just cropping the face out. These 2 conversations happened in the past 6 months. I ended up texting his mom and his brother from my phone, asking them to come and pick him up from the apartment, and then I went to wake him up. I told him that I knew about the girls he was messaging on Instagram, that he needed to pack a bag and get the hell out before I start throwing his stuff out onto the street and causing a scene. He started crying and begging me not to kick him out, and swore that they were just messages and that he would never actually cheat on me. My knight in shining armor, the marriage of my dreams. He'll just sex, but he won't actually do it. But I don't believe him for a second. Then he had the nerve to tell me that he didn't want me to tell anyone else about what he's done, but I had left the room and started ignoring him by that point. Don't worry, girl, I'll tell everyone on YouTube. He left with his mom and brother, and he is staying there from what I know. I've blocked him on everything for the time being until I'm ready to tell him that I'm seeking annulment. Thankfully, where I'm from, you can get 1 almost no questions asked as long as you haven't been married for longer than 30 days, and I've already looked into the process. I haven't really left my apartment at all this week, and I've been calling in sick to work because I don't feel like I can face people. I'm just so embarrassed that I've wasted over 2 years on this man and that I married him in the first place. I don't feel like I can talk to people about this, so posting here has helped me, and I'd like to thank you all for your kind words, advice, and support. I might reach out to Misha when the dust has settled, but I think I'll need to build up some courage for that. I just can't believe that this happened quite literally the day after your wedding. We have another update, and this actually came March 15th, 2023, which was 4 months later. You'll be glad to hear that I was able to get the annulment and I didn't have to go through a messy divorce with Jim. I struck an agreement with him that I wouldn't tell a soul about his cheating or what happened with Misha, and would leave him alone forever if he agreed to the annulment and got it over quickly. I did end up sticking my end of the bargain, but it ended up not mattering because turning out his brother is quite the gossip and let the cat out of the bag over Christmas after getting into an argument with Jim while drunk. The truth always comes out one way or another. A lot of Jim's family were pissed and asked for the money they contributed to his half of the wedding fund back, and some of our mutual friends have cut contact with him. A couple of our friends plastered everything on Facebook and humiliated him. It was interesting to watch the back and forth between them and Jim, honestly. I lived in our apartment and I covered rent on my own while he lived with his parents until the lease ended back in January, and I'm now living with my dad, and I plan to stay here for a while and take things easy. In January, I also tried reaching out to Misha via text, asking if she would like to meet up for coffee to talk about everything. I never got a response directly from her, but a few days later I got a call from her number, and it was her boyfriend on the other end. He said they were both sorry for what had happened to me and that they hope I'm doing well, but that Misha thought it was best to cease any contact as this whole ordeal had made her anxiety and mental health problems spiral and had landed her back in therapy. I did ask why she never told me that Jim had messaged her the day after the wedding, and her boyfriend confessed that he advised her not to get involved, and his direct words were, "I'm sorry to sound rude, but it's not her circus." I'm a little disappointed that she doesn't want to talk to me, but I get where she's coming from and I can't force her to do anything. To be honest, I think she's been looking for a way to divorce herself from our hometown and the people she and Jim knew back in high school for a while now. As for me, I'm also in therapy as I want to sort through these feelings and get back to feeling good about myself again before I even think about entering the dating scene again. I've also been firm about ending friendships with anyone who's taken Jim's side, as I don't want him finding his way into my life again. So far, he stayed away from me and hasn't tried to contact me, although his mom reached out over Christmas to ask me if there was any chance I might forgive Jim and take him back, as in her opinion, you two are just meant to be together. I didn't respond to her, and I've blocked her on pretty much everything now too. See, that's insulting to me. If you find out my partner cheated on me in any degree and you say you're meant to be, you're saying that that's what I'm worth. That's the love that I deserve. No. And maybe I'm just bitter because something very similar happened to me. We're hopping on hydration station. Cheers. Drink your water. Found so much on my significant other's phone. Do you see the music coming out of my ears? I, 31 female, have been with my boyfriend, 38 male, for 1 year, 7 months. We moved in together after 4 months of dating. I was living with a nightmare roommate, and he had also been looking for a new place. We were bonkers about each other and decided to just do it. Cuckoo bonkers or just bonkers? Within a few months of living together, we were fighting like cats and dogs, so we decided to start couples therapy. We have been with our therapist for about 8 months, and while it has helped, we still have a lot of problems. Our problems are communication issues. We are both ADHD and both medicated. We would have a giant blowout fights from very minor problems that, from my perspective, should have just been very simple conversations. It would happen repeatedly for months on end. I could get into more details about why and how much, to what extent, but I will spare you. We fight a lot. I remained loyal and committed to solving our problems, but I truly believe the problem was him. I did a lot of mental gymnastics to self-fix and compromise, but ultimately he is very emotionally immature and has extreme RSD. I have had several past partners cheat on me and carry that anxiety and trauma with me. When I started this relationship, I was very transparent about that. When we moved in together, he was very secretive about his devices. I dismissed my suspicion as my trauma over and over. I brought up my anxiety in therapy, and he reassured me countless times. Since the beginning of our relationship, he had issues that I suspected were corn addiction symptoms. He wouldn't be able to get hard. I could say that. He wouldn't be able to get hard. He wouldn't go, let's say, the death grip, and so on. We are very open sexually and quite kinky. So we talked about corn and our fantasies, etc. The way he used corn concerned me, and I thought it was a bit excessive, but I dismissed it as me being a prude. I was never able to get into his devices because he kept things locked down so much. I discovered I could get into his laptop when he closed it and walked away because of a sleep function. It would stay unlocked for a few minutes after closing. I was able to see his Facebook messages. He was in a years-long chat where they sent nudes to each other. He hadn't sent a nude since we were together, but he still engaged, liked pictures, and sent messages. I knew a few of the people in the chat. I dismissed it because at least he wasn't sending pictures of himself. Okay, I'll be damned if my partner is liking naked photos of other girls. He is such a great guy and he provides me with so much. I love him, all that, yeah. I was able to get into his phone back in March for about 15 minutes during a trip. He accidentally left it unlocked. I wasn't able to dig deep, but I found a lot of flirting with women. They had sexted before our relationship started, and currently he stayed in contact, but no more sexting. The discourse was still flirty, but it wasn't sexting, so I dismissed it. I was actually really happy when I found those texts because I was relieved he wasn't sexting. I said nothing of it and moved on. I had barely skimmed the surface. 2 months later, I still had suspicion and anxiety. I kind of just sided my time for another opportunity to get into the device so I could get proof. The past weekend, we went to a music fest for 4 days. He usually uses his fingerprint to unlock his phone, but I saw him use his password. Later that evening, when he was passed out drunk, I got into his phone. The results were devastating. He sexts with countless, and I mean countless, women. I found Signals, WhatsApp, Telegram, Messenger, texts, etc. So many apps, so many women. The amount of porn, picture folders, and many files, several of women I know. Some are from his hobby groups, some from his activism work, some from his travels. He tells them all that we are poly. He sent a few of them pictures of me, prompting a threesome. There was talk of meeting with a few of them in person. I was on his phone for maybe 3 hours. I found pictures from before we met that was him taking pictures of women he hooked up with where they clearly didn't know they were being photographed. Oh. I played nice the rest of the fest, but as soon as we got home on my effing birthday, I confronted him. At first, he tried justifying it because it wasn't physical. Then, after hours of convincing him that what he has done is harmful, he then takes accountability. He is gonna fix it. He says he will get help for his addiction and will make himself into the man I deserve. He is now groveling and telling me all the changes he will make. Right now, I kicked him out for the week. We have couples therapy on Monday. I am humiliated, embarrassed, ashamed, and dealing with a lot of intense emotions, to say the least. I told one friend that she is my sole support. I'm not ready to tell anyone else. I've had so many issues in this relationship, so several of my friends are sick of hearing about it, and they already want me to leave him. Here's more details. I am a first-generation student. I make very little money. He makes good money. He has supported me since we met so I could focus on my studies more and work less. Before I met him, I worked full-time and I did school full-time. It was intense, to say the least. In so many ways, he is my absolute dream partner. No comment. I'm very attracted to him. I love our intimate life. We have so many shared hobbies and interests. Our life goals are in alignment. We have a lot of fun together. So many shared values and ideals. I've never met someone I had so much in common with. The communication and fighting issues were hard, but he was so perfect in every other way. I was willing to work on that stuff because he was my dream guy. We were going to spend our lives together. He had never lived with a partner before. I felt like he really committed to me. Except not at all. Not my relationship. He's going to try to convince me to stay with him. I want to believe he can change. I've had a boyfriend of 5 years in the past who cheated on me, and we tried to make it work. That relationship ended because of, surprise, he cheated again. I need someone to kick me in the arse and tell me that I can and I should leave. We are unmarried. No kids, no ownership of anything together. We share a lease for the next 9 months, and I'm obviously concerned about that. I barely make enough money to afford a studio apartment. I have a house here with a yard and a garage. He fixes my vehicles and takes me on trips and buys me experiences and things I could never afford on my own. Girl, please, man. It all sounds nice, but like, know your worth, honey. I'm trying to convince myself to stay with him and leave him at the same time. Someone please rattle me. I need to get out of this relationship. I just want to get my degree. I graduate next year. I act like it's easy to walk away from a relationship. Even when I did get cheated on, it wasn't easy. I sat there and I debated, like, can I stay? Could we go to therapy? Of course, that's the love of your life. So my sass is not looking over how difficult it actually is to go through something like that. Trust me. I'm scared his BFF is much more. My boyfriend claims he's never physically cheated on me, but I have my reservations. I, 36 female, have been with my boyfriend, 35 male, for 7.5 years. While we do not have kids together, we do share a dog. In the beginning of our relationship, we were like 2 peas in a pod, loving each other, spending time with each other, just enjoying life with one another. He has quite a few friends of the opposite sex, which I never minded because same. One friend in particular, we will call her L, was introduced to me as his BFF. I was cool until we met in person. I'm big on energy, and something about hers was off and I couldn't put my finger on it. Ever since then, I've always been cordial, but never wanted to establish a bond with her. I also want to mention that I've been diagnosed with PCOS since March 2017, so not only have I been gaining weight, my sex drive / libido hasn't been the same since like 2019. An important tidbit. I said tidbit. So Canadian of me. To remember. Fast forward to 2022. I see a text thread from my boyfriend and L, and he mentions being drunk. He was away for work training and how he feels some kind of way, but by the looks of it, the convo ended at them not discussing anything. Or so I thought. I've since learned he has deleted messages. So I'm in my feelings, and he assures me that nothing has ever happened between them and he apologizes. Fast forward to recently, last night. I find a hidden photo album in his phone and instantly fall ill at the 223 videos and photos he has saved in his phone of corn, him, I can't say that word, him pleasuring himself, L sending him videos of herself, screenshots of them on FaceTime while pleasuring themselves, recent photos and videos of his ex, etc. I've only received 1 video from him recently, and the rest have been sent to L and his ex. Just lock me up at that point because I'm going to jail. I confront him and he doesn't have the words on why he's done this. I'm heartbroken, hurt, betrayed, and disgusted because this BFF of his has smiled in my face numerous times. I've gone out of my way to be the bigger person and be more cordial, not knowing that they don't respect me enough to not do what they do. I've come to the conclusion that she's always wanted him and has feelings for him and vice versa. I am sick of this same old cycle. Guys, all these red flags are giving me a headache. All this cheating, it brings back trauma. I can't handle it. It's not even my life and I'm angry. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and what do we say? If you can't stay loyal, stay single.